Hello and good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good people of Tube. Hope you're today, hope you're feeling grand and all is well in your world. Yes, hello there. Welcome to another Q&A Wednesday, everybody. Be quiet, phone. 1 second, everybody. There we go. I don't know. Anyway, yes, hope you're all well today, and I hope all is well in your world. Like I say, I know where I am. Anyway, am I here? Yes, we are. Yes, let's get going. Anyway, yes, Q&A Wednesday, everybody. By the way, I hope you like the intro jam. That's where I'm at today. It's just this serene, chilled out Dave today. I have no desire to crank anything up distortion wise or wah pedal or anything kind of crazy. I just want to do something really nice and flowy and serene, and that's what came out. That's the first thing that came out, and that's, you know, I always love when that happens. It's the best thing in the world when when that just jumps out at you straight away. Just a chord progression comes out with a certain effect will inspire something to come out for you. It's really, really cool. Anyway, Q&A Wednesday, everybody. Hello. Let's get to question 1. I'm losing my voice already. That's not good. Anyway, oh yes, in different surroundings today. Anyway, question 1. What do you think to John Frusciante's new song A3T1IP? And do you think he's making fun of his fans? I don't think John's making fun of his fans with it, no. I think that song is horrific. Just because I'm a John Frusciante fan. And this is one thing I do find with, like, being a mega fan of something. It's almost like written in kind of like, in a contract somewhere. In somewhere on Mount Everest somewhere, there's like a box with a contract in it about being a mega fan. But it's somewhere in being a mega fan, people reckon you're supposed to like everything that artist does, but I don't think that's the case at all. And John's recent electronic music, I'm not liking at all. Songs like Poem, I don't even know what that was. I don't get it. It's as simple as that. It's not bad if you like that kind of thing. But if you don't like that kind of thing, and you're used to John's Shadows Collide with People, or Neander even, which is weird, but not as weird as that, songs like Poem and A3T blah 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 are just a little bit too out there for anybody to latch on. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in that song for me to latch on to, and the general consensus seems to be there is nothing in it to latch onto full stop with anybody. Some people say they like it. I don't know what you see in it, but that's cool. If you like it, wicked. That's really, really cool. Me, personally, I can't stand it. I reckon John's new song is a bit of a joke. It's almost like he was playing with his synthesizer one day, and he was just messing around with it, and he went to go and get something to eat, and he accidentally, as he got up from his chair or something, hit record and walked off, and the synth was just left to do whatever it wanted. And he comes back 10 minutes later after having a sandwich. Not saying that John Frusciante eats sandwiches, and he just like, I've recorded that. Oh, I'm going to release it. It almost felt like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know John's mind pattern at this point in time. It's obviously not that, if you know what I mean, but it feels like that. It feels a bit like, well, what is it? I mean, it's like Stockhausen. I just don't get it. It's not music that appeals to me in any way, shape, or form. I'm sure it's very clever. I'm sure what John did in that song with the synthesizer and all that kind of stuff is very clever. I'm positive it's very kind of like, wow. If you were to see John playing it, it might be different altogether. Like, fiddling with a synthesizer and actually kind of understanding what he's doing. That would make all the difference. But we don't see that. We just hear it. And when we're used to stuff like, stuff like that, and stuff like the Empyrean and the Chili Peppers stuff, it is hard to latch onto it because there's no melodic element in it whatsoever. I just don't hear it. I don't hear what. It's just noise. It's like just turning your guitar on to distortion and putting it in front of an amp, and messing around with like a filter, like a flanger or a chorus or something like that, and just making woo woo woo, like just crazy noises. It doesn't really. and it doesn't do anything for me. It just doesn't do anything for me. So, but I don't think John's making fun. I would certainly hope he isn't making fun of his fans. I don't think it's in his nature to do that, but I don't know him, so I can't honestly say. But like I say, I don't think he's making fun with songs like that and Poem, but I don't know him well enough, and like I say, I certainly hope he isn't, because it'd be very, very well, it'd be very, very damaging to him if it came out he did it as a joke just to see if anybody, regardless of what he put out, people would like it, kind of thing, like that kind of silly kind of thing some people do. It's like, I can do anything I want now. Now I'm famous. People will like me no matter what I do, kind of thing. And I really hope it isn't that. It doesn't appear to be that. I think it's John just expressing himself in a different way and being such an expressive human being. That's where he's at right now. Much in the same way as my intro jam today was where I'm at today. I've woke up very kind of calm, but with a lot on my mind, if that makes any sense. And that kind of the intro jam kind of like I would like to think kind of dictates that kind of thing. It's like, it's serene, but it's got elements of underlying dread, if you will. What we need to do is create a powerful sense of dread, because the longer the note, the more dread. Anyway, but where was I? Yeah, where was I? Yeah, I was here. But yeah, I don't like it. There has only been a handful of things that John's released in the past couple of years that I have liked. I don't really like Le Tour Le Feu. It's okay, but it's not my favourite. I really liked PBX. Enclosure was quite cool, though. Some cool things on Enclosure and stuff like that. And a couple of others, but the new songs like Poem and A3T 1IP, is that what it is? Yes, I got it right. I'm not a fan. I'm not interested whatsoever. If this is the way John's going, cool for him. But I'm not interested. I'm not going to be listening to it. I wouldn't buy an album of it. It's just noise, and I don't get it, and that's okay. You don't have to get it. I don't like it when people say, "Oh, you're not a fan because you don't like this," or "Oh, you don't." If you don't get it, then you don't deserve to listen to it. Because I've had that before in the past on this, that, and the other, and it's like, well, no. If I don't like something, I know what I like and what I don't like. I am me. If you like it, wicked, but don't tell me I should like it just because. I don't like that kind of thing. It's you should never let anybody tell you what you like, what you should like, and what you don't like. It's all down to you at the end of the day, which I always say. But it's massively important to like I say, follow your own path and be true to what you like. And when people say, "What do you think to John's new song?" I think it's rubbish. I just don't get it. I don't get it, and because of that, I don't like it. Like I say, I'm sure it's technically very clever what he's doing with the synthesizer. I bet it's really cool, but it doesn't appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. It's just noise. It's it's not even a nice kind of soundscape. It's just noise. It's not like Robert Fripp or something like that. It's just the noise kind of thing. So yeah, but like I say, I certainly hope it's not a mick take or anything like that. I certainly hope he isn't making fun of people. I did notice all the music's gone off his Bandcamp. I hope he hasn't kind of like, and this is another worry of mine, is I hope that because the reaction to his new song was so negative, I hope he hasn't spat his dummy out and gone, fine, if you don't like that, then I'm not releasing anything. You know what I mean? I don't think he's like that, but again, I don't know the person. I don't know the man, so I can't honestly say. But all his music's gone. I don't know if it's back. Last time I checked, it wasn't. So I hope he hasn't just kind of like thrown his dummy out of the pram just because nobody liked, A3T or thingy, or Poem, because the last things he's released have received a pretty negative response. I hope he hasn't just kind of spat his dummy out, because that'll be just really ridiculous. And it's hard. I understand it's hard to when you want to break away from what you were to something you want to be, and some people don't like that. I understand that's hard, but John Frusciante is such a music machine. Surely he can do both. Surely he can release things that will appeal to his fan base that put him on the map in the first place, and the Chili Peppers fan base that put him on the map, and then do the crazy synthesizer stuff as well. But again, I don't think John's mind works that way. I think John's very tunnel visioned. I think he's kind of like, I want to do this, that's all that matters in the world right now. You know what I mean? And all the other stuff is kind of secondary to that. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do two things. I want to do that and that only. And I think that's the way John is. Much in the same way quite a lot of people. I mean, Jeremy Spencer from Fleetwood Mac, all he wanted to do was play Elmore James kind of blues, and that's all he wanted to do. And, you know, and that's cool. That is really cool. If that's all you want to do, that's cool. But you have to be aware of what you're doing to either fans or people around you or whatever. You know, you just got to be careful. And like I say, I hope this new song isn't a Mick take of like, you know, I can release anything and people will love it no matter what I do kind of thing. Because I have read people's comments on like why they like it, and people just say, oh, I like it because of this, this and this, and that's cool if you do like it for that. But I hope it's not just a smokescreen just because it's John. I hope you're not liking it just because it's John, because that's not cool. If you don't like it, say you don't like it. You're allowed to not like everything John puts out. You know, it's just, you know, it's easy to do. You know, I don't like everything Peter Green did. I don't like everything that Roy Gallagher did. I don't like everything that Jimi Hendrix did. I don't like everything that John does. I don't like everything that kind of like let's look through my CD collection quick. Alter Bridge do, or Oasis do, or stuff like that. You know, in Green Day, I don't like some of the stuff that Green Day do. But I still love them as a band, you know what I mean? Or as an artist. You know, you don't have to like everything they do. That's cool. You know, you're not going to. It's not going to work that way, not necessarily. It's very rare to find an artist you like everything they do. So I think I've proper tangented on that for long enough. But yeah, I don't like the song. If anybody does like it, that's wicked. That's really, really cool. But you don't have to be a John Frusciante mega fan to like it or dislike it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. That didn't make any sense. You don't have to be. You can still be a fan of John and hate that song. That's what I wanted to say. Yes, got there in the end. Anyway, yeah, but I don't like it. There's nothing in it. There's nothing melodic in it. It doesn't make me feel anything. It doesn't move me. It doesn't do anything for me whatsoever. So I'm not interested. And like I say, I just hope he hasn't spat his dummy out, because if he has, then it says a lot about the man, and I don't think that's a very good character reference, so to say, for all the us John Frusciante fans out there in the world. If he is kind of, if it comes out like you know, oh, if you don't like that, screw you kind of deal. And if that's the case, then I don't appreciate that one bit. You know, having bought all his albums, having studied the man for 16 years guitar playing, I would feel a little bit betrayed by it all. I don't feel betrayed by him at all. But if it came out that he was doing it as a bit of a kind of like, you know, this, that and the other, then I would be a bit like, I wouldn't be going out smashing the albums up, but I wouldn't be happy. You know, this man's my hero, and it would kill me to think that my hero is that kind of a person. I don't like it. And you know, some of the things he said in recent interviews, like past and present, and the way he was to Flea and Chad and Anthony during the By the Way recording and stuff like that, it does make you just kind of like go, you're a hard person to weigh up, John. Sometimes you're here, sometimes you're there. You know, Flea wanted to quit the Chili Peppers during the By the Way tour, and you can see it in some performances. He just looks at John like he can't stand to be near him, because John just became like a little dictator, basically. Anyway, I'm going to move on from there now. I think I've rambled on about that enough. People of the Tube, if you've heard John Frusciante's new song, A3T, sorry, guitar, A3T1IP, what did you think to it? And if you liked it, why? And if you don't like it, why? What is it about it? You know, for me, like I said, don't make me feel anything, doesn't do anything for me emotionally or anything like that. It's just noise. It's just noise, and I don't like it at all. So, people of Tube, let me know. Okay, moving on to question 2 now. Question 2. My hands sweat a lot, and my strings get rusty very fast. Have you heard of other guitarists having the same issue, and do you know a workaround? Yeah, there's a lot of guitarists that I know who get really sweaty hands, and strings tend to rust out really quick, and this, that, and the other. One thing I would recommend is trying different string brands. You know, different kinds of strings. You know, like not necessarily sticking to one brand of strings. You know, go from like Diodario, Ernie Ball, Alexia, Dunlop strings, Elixir strings, whatever. You know, just go through just try loads of different strings and see which ones behave the best for you when you sweat on them after a long period of time. And another thing I would always recommend, and I always do this after I play my guitar, even if I play my guitar for like 5 minutes, I always do this. I wipe my strings down. Just with I used to use fingeries, and I still do use fingeries quite a lot, but it's really hard to find for some reason in England. Like, you can get it, but it's really expensive, and I can't really afford to buy it constantly, so I use it sparingly. But I always wipe my strings down with just like a microfiber cloth. I always wipe my strings down with a microfiber cloth after I've played it. And I use Diodario strings because I find that I love them. I just love the sound of them. I love the way they feel when they're, I don't like new strings. I like worn-in strings. So I like them when they're really, really kind of like, really warm sounding. And I like to keep old strings on for as long as I can. I only change strings when I break them. Unless they're otherwise if they're totally dead. If they're totally dead, then I'll change them. But I only really change strings if I break one, because I really like worn-in strings. I just love the feel of them. They just make a warmer sound, which I love even more. They seem to be more rounded, more. They seem to even be more responsive. I don't know why. You would think it'd be the other way around. Newer strings would be more responsive. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just me being neurotic and weird. But I do find that older strings. I don't know. I just prefer them. Have I ever restrung the Oswald Telly? I don't think I have. I think these are the strings that came with the guitar. I don't remember. I don't think I've restrung it. The dirt and the dust in the string ferrules makes me think I've never changed these strings, and they just sound really nice at this point in time. I really like. They've just got this real nice. You have to forgive the amount of reverb I've got on, but. Nice warmth to them, and especially on like a bridge pick. Let me go to a different sound quick. They've got. And it's got something about them. It's really, really nice. I really like it. So yeah, one thing I would always recommend is wipe your strings down. Get all the gunk off. Get all the finger gunk off. Get all the sweat off. Just do that, and then what I do is I tend to get the string between my two fingers like that. So the string goes between like two fingers like that. And with in the cloth, so basically pinch the cloth like that, get it on the string, and just go all the way up the string, and make sure all the gunk is off underneath. After a 2-hour gig, that ain't gonna happen. But as long as you do it after, the day after, your string should be okay. But I would recommend trying different string brands. Different string kind of like. In the brands, different makes of strings, like the NYXLs by Diodarios, or the standard Diodarios, or certain whatevers. Just try all sorts of different strings and find the ones that work for you best. That way, you'll be able to do it. But like I say, always, I would always recommend wiping your strings down after you've played, because it just extends the string life, and it makes for a happier guitar. It really does. And sorry everybody. 'Tis the season for the runny nose. It just extends string life, and like I say, it just makes your guitar a happier guitar, because it's not gunky or anything like that. And a happy guitar, a looked after guitar is a happy guitar. And look after it, it'll look after you, kind of thing. That's I've always felt that way. Is if you look after your guitars, they will look after you. If you treat them with with the care and just really look after them, they will. It's like anything. If you look after it, it looks after you, kind of thing. So, that's what I would recommend. Try loads of different string brands. See which one works for you. See which ones last the most time. Always carry like a microfiber cloth, or just like anything, a towel even, and just clean the strings after you've played. Like I said, if it's after a gig, don't worry about it so much, but as long as you do it like the next morning or whatever, just keep on top of cleaning the strings, you'll be alright. They should behave, and you get all the the stuff out. And also, this stuff is an absolute godsend. This stuff is amazing. It really is amazing stuff, and it really does help with strings, keeping your strings clean, keeping your neck clean, and everything. It's amazing stuff. I absolutely highly recommend. Finger ease, everybody. It's amazing. Don't spray it on before you start playing though, because it makes everything really slick and really quite hard to play. So don't spray it on before you play. Do it afterwards if you've got to. Because I made that mistake once, and it was like, hey! It's like trying to play a snake. Anyway, yes, I hope that's answered your question. People of a tube, do you know any other workarounds for guitarists with really sweaty hands whose strings rust? Let us know in the comment section below. Okay, but that's what I'd recommend. Okay, moving on to question 3 now, everybody. Question 3. I'm considering swapping the Kluson style machine heads on my vintage Lemon Drop for Grovers like Peter Green and Jimmy Page. Is it a good idea? And is it easy to do? Is it a good idea? It doesn't really matter. In all honesty, I found the stock Kluson machine heads, well, Kluson style tulip heads, machine heads, to be fine on my Lemon Drop. But I know exactly where you're coming from because I did the exact same thing. I changed out mine, my tulip head machine heads on my Lemon Drop for a while for the Grovers that Peter Green and Jimmy Page had on theirs. You know, a friend of mine sent me some to put on it, and I did put them on for a while. And eventually I changed back to the tulip heads because I just love the look of the tulip heads, and I had to go out and buy some Grovers because I drilled the hole. But I'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, I mean it's cool. It's not a necessary change unless your machine heads are weak, because I'm sure there is some guitars out there with weak machine heads. Mine were really good. They're on my cousin's Hofner now, and that thing just doesn't go out of tune. You couldn't shout it out of tune. Go out of tune! Go out of tune! It'd be like, no, make me. It'd be like that. But yeah, so they're really, really good, they are. But I can understand there are some people who kind of have weak ones. Some of them are weak because they're only cheap, and some are weak sometimes and they don't behave the way they should. So I totally understand that. And also for the aesthetic look as well. If you kind of like, changing machine heads out to look like more like Peter Green's or Jimmy Page's Les Paul, then yeah, I can totally understand that. So it's up to you really. At the end of the day, if you want to do it, yeah, it's cool. If your machine heads are weak, then yeah, I would recommend it highly. If they're not, then just ask yourself, what do you want the guitar to look like? If you want to put them on because you want the look of Peter Green's or Jimmy Page's, then go for it. If you're not that bothered, then, and you want to save yourself a bit of money, then don't. But it's totally up to you at the end of the day. I did on mine, and it really did look cool. I've got a couple of videos where you can see them on it, and it really does look like, it's got more of that kind of Peter Green, Jimmy Page kind of vibe to the guitar. But I found I do love the tulip heads more. I don't know what it is about the tulip heads, but I really like the look of them. I don't know. They're like these Kluson Deluxe style machine heads on Fenders. It's just one, and Mr. Oswald here. These vintage style Klusons. I just love the look of them. I obsessed for about a year over this style of machine head until I got my white Fender, my Mexican, my number one guitar. I obsessed about having a guitar with these machine heads because I loved them. I kept seeing them in magazines and seeing them on John Frusciante's guitar and just going, I really love the look of those machine heads. And I got to play an old Tokai with those machine heads, and I was just like fascinated by the way they look, and I just love the way they are. It's weird. It's stupid little aesthetics things like that, but it's really cool nonetheless. But anyway, totally down to you. But yeah, is it easy to do? It is easy to do, but, and here's the big but, you have to drill bigger holes in headstock. The holes that come on the vintage Lemon Drop are the small kind of vintage, kind of like this on Mr. Oswald here. They're the small string pole thing. I don't know. Machine. Well, I don't know what that's called. The bit you put your string in the machine head. The string pole. Why don't we call it a string pole? And they call it a string tree, but no, it's not a string tree. That's a string tree, Dave. But yeah, the bit where you put your string in, and also kind of like the bottom of the machine head, the vintage V100, the Lemon Drop, is drilled for the small hole. It's a very small hole. So to get Grovers in there, you do have to drill a bigger hole, and that can be a bit risky. If as long as you're careful, you'll be fine. As long as you be careful with it, as long as you kind of like get the guitar clamped down nice, you'll be fine. But it could cause lacquer breaking. You can break the lacquer. So I'd recommend just masking the holes off before you drill them, and just go gradually up in size in drill bit as well. Do not go straight to the exact drill bit. I made that mistake on, I think it was my high E string on my Lemon Drop, and it kind of tore it out a bit. It's a bit of a mess. Under the machine head hole on my Lemon Drop, there's a bit of a mess under there, but luckily it's hidden due to the washer on the Grover. But but yeah, I would go gradually up in size, just gradually whittle it away, kind of thing, and just be really, really careful. And I would say put masking tape over the hole so it won't tear out, basically, on the front and the back, and just be really careful, nice and slow with the drill, not like no, none of that. Just be really, really careful. So it is easy to do. You just got to be aware that the lacquer might break, and if it does break, then it's going to break. Just be careful. As long as you're careful, it's fine. It's very easy to do. Just a couple of things to be aware of, like I say, like the whole lacquer breaking and stuff like that. But yeah, aesthetically wise, it's totally up to you though. It does look cool. I will say that for a lemon drop, it does look really cool. But again, I just prefer the tulip head, so I went and bought some tulip head Grovers and shoved them on instead, and put the other ones aside. I just didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I do love the look of them. I just prefer the traditional, if you will. The tulip heads have something really, really cool about them. Okay, so yeah, I hope that's answered your question. I got a feeling that was a terrible answer. If it was, I do apologise. Like I say, foam batons are on standby. But yeah, I hope that's answered your question. I'm going to move on to question 4 now. Question 4. Has anyone... This is an interesting question. Has anyone ever recognised you? And if so, how often do people recognise you? No, people don't normally recognise me that often. I've had maybe about 2 or 3 people recognise me when I'm out and about, and that's about it. One guy recognised me in a local guitar shop at one point, and we had a bit of a chat. It was really, really cool, and he's got like a really nice black Stratocaster. It was really, really nice, and really, really cool guy. It was nice to speak to him. It was really cool. Another guy I met at a Michael Jackson tribute concert. Me and Joe went to this Michael Jackson tribute concert locally, and it was the last place on earth I expected to be recognised. But this guy came up and he said, "Well, oddly enough, we were on like a row of seats to ourselves, and we thought he was going to come and ask if he could sit on our row to get a better view or just be out of the way of it, so to say." But he said, "You're Dave Simpson, aren't you?" I was like, "Yes, I am." So if that person's watching, hello again. And if a person I saw in a guitar shop is watching, hello again. And I also got noticed at a petrol station once, the local petrol. I was filling up the van, and this guy came along, and he had a dog with him, and he recognised me from YouTube as well. But other than that, no, I don't really get recognised a lot. I'm not where I live. It's not really that kind of place. But yeah, I don't really get recognised that great deal. So yeah. But it has happened 3 times, so it's quite interesting. It is a bit strange when it does, because I don't... How to word it? From my perspective, I don't know how to word it. It's just very strange. It's a very strange feeling being recognised by people who follow the channel. And I'd love to do a meet and greet one day. It's kind of one of those things that I've always wanted to do, is kind of like, meet and greet people who watch and support this channel. I'd love it. I'd love to kind of like bring all my guitars, I've a load of amps there that, people just kind of go mental on, like the 62 and my white Strat and the Oswald Telly and the Oswald Strat, and all the other guitars I've got that are kind of like quirky and interesting, and like the CR120 and my Marshall MGs and my pedal board and stuff like that. I'd love to have that there, like a meet and greet, so people can have a bit of a play and mess around on basically what I have and this and the other. So maybe one day I'll get around to doing something like that. But at this point in time, I sadly don't think that's on the cards. But yeah, I do get recognised once in a blue moon, but it is once in a blue moon. Like I say, it's only happened 3 times. So, but yeah, so So how about that? Answer your question. Like I say, if those 3 people are watching this video, hello! It was very nice to meet you, and I do love meeting people who just kind of like randomly see me in public. And also, I do like. I recently sold one of my flexes to a guy who watches this channel, and hello if you're watching, by the way. I hope the flex is treating you okay. And I sold one of my flexes to him, and it was really cool to meet him. He came up here to buy it off me, and it was just really, really cool to awesome guitarist as well, really nice guitar player, and it was just really cool. It's just really cool to meet people. I mean, it's really strange because I'm not through what's gone on in my life. not you're gonna. I don't want to use this as an excuse, but it is kind of like my excuse, so to say. For what's going on in my life, I do see people as a threat. I am scared of people. It's just the way I am. I'm a very shy and I'm not very confident person in public. I'm just not. I'm not that kind of person at all. So I am always edgy when I'm out and about. I am always this, that, and the other. But when I'm around people who I get a good vibe off, I'm quite happy. You know what I mean? And I love it, and you won't shut me up, that kind of thing. So meeting people out there, all you lot, would be awesome beyond words. I'd love it. It would be so cool. Anyway, maybe in the future. But anyway, I hope that's this question. Move on to question 5 now, everybody. Question 5. Do you ever go through periods where your improvisation and solos are uninspired? I go through periods where I can't get anything meaningful out of the guitar. Do you have any advice? Yeah. Excuse me. That's a hair. Excuse me. Yeah, there is times where you pick up the guitar and nothing comes out, or you don't think anything's coming out of worth. It's amazing, though, how many times you can play something you're not necessarily kind of like feeling, because you could start playing something and go, I'm not feeling this, it's not doing anything, something's going on but I'm not feeling it, and people be like, that something hit me there. You know what I mean? It's bizarre. It's all down to beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so to say. That's not really the right line, but it's what I could think of. You know what I mean? What you think might be rubbish guitar playing might be somebody else going, wow, that was amazing. That was really cool. It's all down to kind of like thingy. And as a guitarist, we are our own worst critic. We pretty much, nothing's ever good enough. You know what I mean? And I think that's a good thing, if I'm being perfectly honest, because it makes you strive to push yourself and want to be better. Whereas if you think everything you do is amazing, I need to stop doing that. Ha ha ha. But yeah, if you think everything you do is amazing, then you're destined to fall one day, and you're going to fall very hard. I think if you constantly think like, well, I wasn't good enough, I can do better, you push yourself, and I think pushing yourself is important with a guitar, because especially emotionally and physically, more emotionally than physically though, because you can stand totally still and do an absolutely stunningly amazing emotional guitar solo like Machine Gun by Jimi Hendrix. Stands pretty much totally still, eyes closed. The power coming out of Jimmy's guitar in Machine Gun is unreal. So more emotionally, if you push yourself emotionally to get stuff out of this, into the guitar, through your pedals and out your amp and to people's ears, that's kind of like more important. But yeah, there are days where it won't happen. It's like anything. There's good days and there's bad days. Some days you'll play and it'll be amazing. Next day you play, it'll be terrible. One day you'll plug in and you're like, oh my god, this is just so good. I can play that bit. I couldn't play that yesterday. This is dead easy. Oh my god. Oh, the sound. Oh, it sounds amazing. And you'll get really carried away and you'll play for hours and hours and hours and you'll just love it. Next day you'll go to it and you could go, not quite like that, but you know what I mean. And go like, yeah. And again, it's just phases. It's just phases. It's either a good day or it's a bad day. It's just like anything in life, really. There's good and there's bad, and sometimes you just have to walk away. And I do always feel that when you are playing the guitar and you're having a bad day and it's not happening and you're just getting stressed at it, you need to put it down and go away from it and not play it again. It's really important to take time away. You don't want to be playing every hour God sends, just because, and stressing yourself out for it. It's not good. It's not good. You need to take a break. Breaks are really important, because it gives your time. It gives your brain time to process what you've been learning, and kind of like just give it a break from the stress and the strain of trying to do something, and also gives you your hands time to learn and everything to become more coordinated. So when you come back to the guitar, you're a lot fresher and you're ready to go. So I would say if you're having kind of like an issue with kind of like playing, I would say put the guitar down. Unless you're at a gig, don't do it at a gig. People might bottle you, especially if they're enjoying it. But yeah, yeah, if it's not happening, put the guitar down. Go do something else. You know. Also, another thing I will say though is if it's not happening, try a different sound. You know what I mean? Just try a different sound. Today, for instance, like my brain was telling me all morning, the intro jam today has to be on the soundscape patch on my HX. It has to be this, and it has to use this sound. It has to use the octaverb. This. It has to use that sound because that's what's in my head today, and the backing has to be slow, melodic, a lot of single note lines, no kind of crazy shred wah-wahness or anything like that. You know, it just has to be relaxed. That's what my brain was telling me from day dot, you know, this morning, for the first moment. So, but yeah, you know, try different effects, try a different sound, mess with your amp, mess with your pedals, you know, mess with your guitars, try different pickup heights, try different string heights. You know, do something that won't involve you getting stressed out over playing. If you feel that you're playing and nothing meaningful is coming out, do something else. Either walk away from the guitar totally, take a break from it, or do something else with the guitar. Like I say, mess around with it, try and dial the amp in a bit more, try and dial your pedals in a bit more, try and tweak the action on your guitar, or the pickup height, or whatever, you know, or do whatever really. Just do something, you know, just something else. Don't force it. This is important. Never ever force anything, because if you force something, you're just going to get stressed out and it'll never happen. So don't force it to happen. If you force it, it's not going to happen. You'll just get stressed out. You'll get angry, and you can end up throwing your guitar across the room in pure anger and hatred of it. You know, it's like what Jimi Hendrix once said. Like, you know, some days you'll love the guitar, some days you'll hate it. But you know, it's not his word verbatim. But like, you know what I mean? He said something along those lines, and it's very true. You know, every guitarist has a bit of a love-hate relationship with the guitar at some point. You know what I mean? Some days you love it, some days you can't stand it because it won't behave. It won't do what you want it to do. You know, and that's normal. That's normal, and that's normal. That's normal in every walk of life. You know, a painter, an artist. Some days he'll be able to paint really well. Some days he won't. A tennis player. Some days he'll be able to play really well. Some days he won't. You know, and it goes on through life really. So you know, and some days you have a really good day where everything goes your way, and some days you have a really bad day, and all these have an effect on the way you react. You know, every action has a reaction, and it's either positive or negative depending on the action in the first place. If it's a negative action, you can guarantee your reaction to it will probably be negative. You know, it's quite hard to have a positive reaction to a negative event. You know, it's, you know, you can't fall over in the street, you know, and scrape your knees and go, God, that was brilliant. You know, it's a bit weird. It's not going to happen. And the same thing with guitar. If you're having a bad day on guitar, you can't go, oh, I can't play today, but it's okay, because it won't work. It's just a facade that you're kind of putting on for eventually you will go, I'm getting really annoyed now. You know, it eventually gets really annoying. So, anyway, so yeah, that'd be my advice. Walk away or just do something else with guitar. Like I say, like tweak with your amp, mess around with your amp, mess around with your guitar. Just mess around. Just have fun. Get back to having fun. If it gets stressful, do something that's just fun. Either, you know, if that means restringing the guitar, cleaning the guitar, you know, taking it apart to see how it works, modding it, whatever. You know, as long as it's fun, that's all that matters. That's all it should ever be, is fun. If it's not fun, then, you know, you definitely need to take a step back. You know, it should always be fun. You should never ever see it as a chore or like a hardship. You just don't want that. You don't want that. It's not good. It's just a negative energy that will just serve to ruin it for you if you're not careful. So yeah, I hope that's answered the question. You also asked, what's your favourite Red Hot Chili Peppers album and live performance? Okay, so favourite Red Hot Chili Peppers album is Californication. I just love that album. And I say, it's got my all-time most meaningful Chili Peppers song, Scar Tissue, on it, which I'll do a video on soon, why it means so much to me. I'll explain. Because I've got a video. I recently recorded a brand new song that's about the subject matter. So and it's for the subject matter. So I will do a video on that soon, and I'll release that song on my Bandcamp when I do it, and it'll be in the video as well. So yeah, I'll do that at some point soon. It's just it's not giving easy video to film, and I've got to kind of get myself in the. I've got to just kind of like be in the right frame of mind for it. So I've got to be careful with it more than anything. But yeah, my favourite Chili Peppers album is Californication by far. I adore it. I wore it out. I had Californication on the CD. I absolutely wore it out. It's downstairs somewhere. The case is broken. The CD's scratched. It doesn't work. I just wore that album out. By the way, was one of the first albums I started learning of the Chili Peppers, but Californication's got the most meaning to me, if you will. And my favourite live performance, anything from the 1998, 1999, 2000 era of the Chili Peppers is my favourite performance. I love kind of like the Off the Map DVD period and like, the Live at Red Square gig and stuff like that. I just find something about that period of time really, really magical and special. I do love the By the Way era, but I do feel that By the Way era is tinged with tension due to John, like I say, becoming a little dictator during the recording of it, and Flea wanting to quit, and there's quite a lot of tension around the band at that period of time, and you can kind of feel and see it when you're watching them, especially at Rock AM Ring. There's some tension at that gig. I felt it at Hyde Park a bit as well. When I was at a Hyde Park gig, there was a bit of a funny tension between Flea and John. It's strange to pick up on. I know it's a strange thing to say, but there was something. They were getting on, but it felt like Flea had something against John, and John was oblivious to it. It sounds weird to say, but you could feel there's a strange atmosphere. It's like one of those things of like, you ever been in a room with somebody and you can tell somebody's not happy, but they won't tell you, but you can just feel it. You can feel the vibe. You can feel like whatever it is. Negativity or whatever you want to call it, coming from them. Yeah, you can feel that in some of the By the Way performances between Flea and John. There's this negative. Much in the same way, if you watch the Saturday Night Live version of Under the Bridge, you can see the negativity that Anthony has towards John at the end. The way Anthony looks at John at the end and the way John looks at Anthony at the end. I mean, it's quite scary. I think it's quite a horrific look they both have towards each other. There, it's not particularly comfy to see. So yeah, my favourite live performances are kind of anything around like that Californication tour, because I just love it. I think John's playing is just the most soulful he's ever been. And I think Flea's playing is incredible. I think Chad's playing is incredible. And I think Anthony's singing is amazing as well. I just think that point they were just absolutely on it, 100% on it. I feel it kind of started to lapse off a bit in the By the Way period. Not a great deal. We're talking about 98%. And then it came back to like 99 during the Stadium Arcadium. And at the end of Stadium Arcadium, it just kind of went down to like 90 when John couldn't be bothered anymore. And you can see it in those last couple of shows. John ain't there. He's not bothered. He is not bothered. He's going crazy on his intros, but he stays out his way. He stays to his pedalboard. He stays to his wah-wah. He barely looks at anybody. And it just creates a very, very bad atmosphere. You don't need that in a band. You don't want that in a band. It's just going to serve to be destructive to you all. So it's not good. But yeah. So that that Californication tour is just that's my favourite period of the Chili Peppers, and anything around that time I just adore. Anytime I click on anything, I always watch those gigs. I do watch a couple of modern ones, but not the Stadium Arcadium and By the Way ones every now and again, but I just love the Off the Mac period and the Californication period. It's just my favourite. It's absolutely awesome. I love it. And I love John's sound around that time. More so than By the Way and Stadium Arcadium and Mother's Milk and Blood Sugar Sex Magic. John's tone around the Californication tour time, when he had the minimalistic pedal board, and it just... Yay. Awesome. So, anyway, I hope I answered your question. People of the Tube, John Frusciante fans or Red Hot Chili Peppers fans, what is your favourite live performance of the Chili Peppers and why? Let us know in the comment section below. Okay, so final question of the day, everybody. Question 6. Have you ever played through any old Supro amps? Have you ever played through the one Jimmy Page used? And if so, do tell. Yes, I've been very lucky to play through quite a few old Supro amps, including the model that Jimmy Page apparently used. to record Led Zeppelin 1. When you plugged a telly into it, it certainly had that sound. I think I've got a video of it. I don't know. I can't remember. But I think I did demo some Supro amps. I demoed some new ones. But I think I did demo it. I remember I did a Tone of a Day. I used to do a thing at Old Hat called Tone of a Day, where I would, like, you know, I was, if something just kind of like, I would just, because I would just go around the shop in the downtime when no one came into the shop, and I'd just plug into things and just try and find kind of like a really cool sound. There was one time I plugged into this Supro, the one that apparently Jimmy Page used. Funny looking thing. It just looked like a weird robot. It looked really strange. It had two dials on it, tone and the volume, and they both had to be on 10. Otherwise, the amp was just like nothing. Did it have a tremolo? I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But I remember one time I plugged the Orange. You know, the Orange did a kit, a guitar kit for a while, like where it was like, you know, you got like a CR12 and like a Les Paul Junior kind of style Orange Les Paul looking guitar and a lead and a tuner and all this kind of stuff. And we had them in. And I really love those Les Pauls. They're amazing guitars. And I plugged that guitar into that Supro amp one day. And I was just like, that's really cool. It's this really thin, cut-in sound, but really cool sound. Really kind of like unique in a way kind of sound. And, you know, to that amp, you know, it was really kind of like oldie worldy. It sounded like the 60s kind of. It's that kind of thing. And I did a video on it, and I think I demoed it. I don't remember for the life of me if I demoed it or I didn't. Let's have a look quick. With the beauty of the internet, let's just have a quick gander at what I did do. Because I don't remember. I mean, all the videos for Old Hat are in a playlist, but I don't remember. Yes, I did. The Supro Corsica, I did demo it. 4 years ago. Good gravy. Yeah, I did demo it. I also did the Coronado, the reissue. The Thunderbolt, the bass amp. There it is. Tone of the Day. It was a 1963 Supro Corsica amplifier with the orange Les Paul. And that was 4 years ago. That's really mad. That's crazy. 4 years. Good gravy. Yeah, I don't think I demoed any others. No, I didn't. That's a shame. I thought I did. But no, I definitely demoed the one that Jimmy Page apparently used. And like I say, it's called the late 60s Supro Corsica. It's like a 62 or something. But I don't think anyone knows 100% which Super amp Jimmy Page used. We got told, and it was in a book we had in the shop, that he used the Corsica. But again, I don't know. But when you plugged a Telecaster into it, a 60s Telecaster, into that amp and just cranked it all the way up, it did sound like Communication Breakdown. It had that kind of, that kind of sound with no reverb. But it had that kind of sound. So who knows? But yeah, I've played through quite a few. I've unfortunately, looking back now, I wish I'd demoed more of them, because there was quite a lot of them. We had in Old Hat there was a Supro amp. It was about that big. No word of a lie. It was absolutely tiny, and it was gorgeous. I think it was like 5 watts, something like that. I think there was a 12 watt as well. It was a bit bigger, but not much bigger, and that was gorgeous as well. And it smelt like a carpet warehouse. There was something about the smell of Super amp. All old Super amps to me smelt like carpet warehouses. When you go into a place that sells carpets, it smells like that. Or one of those carpet sample books, they all smell like that for some reason. I don't know why. It's like Marshalls. Old Marshalls have a very distinctive smell, and old Gibsons have a distinctive smell, and old Fenders have a distinctive smell. It's weird. Sounds stupid, but trust me, it is there. It's mental, but yeah. But yeah, they're awesome amps though. Super amps are really, really cool. The Corsica was nice. It wasn't my favourite. My favourite was the 12 watt actually. It wasn't the smallest one, it was the next one up. Yeah, I loved that 12 watt. I think it was 12. Was it 12 or 15? That's a real shame I never demoed that. I'm absolutely gutted for some of the stuff I missed out on. I really am. There was a lot of really awesome things I wish I could have demoed and never did get round to. It's a bit of a shame. It's kind of one of those things that kind of haunts me in a way. It kind of upsets me a little bit when I think about it sometimes. You know, but you know, like I say, you know, like I was saying before, the way that went was a negative. You know, you can only react the way you can react to it, and sadly, it is a negative reaction to that. But anyway, enough on that. But yeah, I have played through some of the old Supros. Unfortunately, I only ever demoed one old one and demoed 2 new ones. But the old ones are really, really cool. I could have sworn I demoed more. You know, I could have sworn I demoed more Supros, but obviously I didn't because. Oh no, I did. There it is. Yeah, that's the one. The 1960s era Supro Valco. That was my favourite. It's absolutely tiny. There is a video on it. And there's part 2 as well. I did 2. 5 years ago that was. 5 years. I did a part 1 and a part 2. Yeah, so it's the 1960s era Supro Valco Chicago 51. That was it. I would have loved to own that amp. It was so cool. It was tiny. And you can see how tiny it is because I'm stood right next to it. I just wish I could have got a better recording of it. Because at the time we didn't mic up or anything like that. So yeah, it's a shame really. I demoed it with a Les Paul and a Telecaster. Was that? I demoed it with a 60s Telecaster. It was Norman's Telecaster actually. I demoed it with, and a Les Paul. It looks like a traditional. It's 6 watts. It was 6 watts, so it was really low power. Why do I think it's... I bet any money I got the 51 backwards, so I'm thinking it's 15 watts. But yeah, it's 6 watts. What a weird number. But anyway, yeah, so I have demoed it. There are videos on the tube of me playing through these things 5 years ago. Time just goes when you're not paying attention to it. When you're having fun, time just flies. Okay, so yeah, I have played through quite a few old Super amps, and yeah, they are amazing. I probably did more as well, but I don't remember right now. Did I do any more? I don't know. That's the bottom of that page. But anyway, yeah. So I do hope that's answered your question. Yeah, old Super amps are really, really cool. If you get a chance to play through an old Super, they're really cool. The new ones are really, really cool as well. And I seem to remember doing a shootout because we had a what's that one called again? No, not the Thunderbolt. The Coronado. I seem to remember we had an original Coronado and the reissue Coronado. And I seem to think I did a video where I compared the two. But maybe I didn't. Maybe I wanted to do and never got around to it. I don't know. But I seem to remember... I could swear I did it. Because I can remember thinking the original Coronado wasn't as good. But I don't know. I don't know, everybody. If it's out there, just, you know, it'll be on YouTube somewhere. Like I say, all the old hat videos I did from the old hat days are in a playlist on my my channel's like homepage. So all the videos I did in old hat are in like a separate playlist, so you can kind of go through them if the mood takes you, so to say. I'm eating my own facial hair here. It needs to be trimmed. Anyway, but yeah, they are really, really cool. I remember the Coronado was amazing, really, really cool. I demoed the Coronado 4 years ago. Whoa, it's mental. It's crazy to think that was 4 years ago, and I say the demo of your one was 5 years. I say time does fly when you think about it. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this Q&A, everybody, and I will see you again for another video on Friday. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I will figure it out. I'm sure. Yeah, and, oh yeah, by the way, and if you have any video ideas, something you would like to see me do, please leave a comment, because quite a few people have left comments in the past, and I have kind of got around to doing their videos and stuff, and I really like some of the people's ideas. You know, I think it's cool to do videos that you request. You know, I like that, because, you know, you requested it. Instead of me kind of going, I'm going to show you X, Y, and Z today. If it's something that, you know, if people have requested, I think it's cool. So yeah, if there's anything you kind of want to see happen on the channel or anything, you know, you'd like to see differently or whatever, just, you know, leave a comment below and let me know. I do read all comments. I reply to them as much as I can. I try to reply to every single one. and because I think it's important too. There was a period of time where it just got a bit too overwhelming, but I've got a new routine where I'm kind of trying to keep up on top of it. I do I kind of comment every kind of like I do reply to every comment to comments every Tuesday, Thursday, and either Saturday or Sunday, depending on what's going on basically over the weekend. But yeah, because oh no, sorry, I tell a lie. No, I'm not telling a lie. That is true. Yeah, Tuesday and Thursday are my main kind of days because that's when I've got most free time to comment get back to you all. And I do like to reply to your comments. I do love to read all your comments. I think it's really important to do that. So like I said, for a while, I'll have to stop, but I've got a new routine now, and it seems to be okay. Touch wood. Touch wood. This is better wood. I'm not even sure that's wood. Anyway. What are you on about, Dave? So, anyway, I hope I've answered your questions okay. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A sesh, everybody. Yeah, and I will see you again very soon for another video. I also have a special video to do over the weekend. It'll only be a short one, but I have something to talk to you about, which is very, very cool. And yes, I will talk to you about that on the weekend. But we'll get Friday's video out the way first. But yes, I will see you again. Have a great morning, afternoon, and a good evening. And I will leave you with this gorgeous chord. I don't know what it is. It just sounds nice, and I nicked it from Stevie Ray Vaughan.